What you're looking at now is what we like to call the academic hamster wheel, the cycle, the wheel, the publication life cycle. And you might very well have an idea or a project looking for funding or some data that you need to collect. You're thinking about journal selection. You're writing an article, or you're at submission or peer review and publication. And as an active researcher, you've probably got projects all different stages of the cycle. I know I used to have when I was working as an active researcher. So we are here to help you at all of the different stages of this cycle, because at the end of the day, the most important thing for you to do as a researcher is to publish papers that stand out. 30,000 medical science papers are published every month. It's very, very important to select a good journal, write your work up effectively, and make sure that you have the highest possible chance of standing out from the rest of the plants in the field, from the rest of the sunflowers in the crop. How are you going to do that effectively? Well, to begin with, we think about why. Why are you going to publish a paper? Because your motivations are different from the motivations of journal editors. You might be a PhD student or a master's student, and you need to get your work published to get your degree. Or you might be at a later stage in your academic career, and you might need to get your work published to get promoted, or to get tenure, or to get a grant funded, for example. It's all about developing research and development, but your motivations as a researcher writing and publishing your work are different to the motivations of editors and peer reviewers at journals. It's a bit like getting hit by a bus. When you make a submission to an academic journal, what happens is that an editor at the journal triages your paper. We even call it editorial triage. It's like if you get run over by a bus, you get rushed to the hospital, they decide what's going to happen next. The criteria that desk editors at journals consider: does it fit with the journal scope? Does this article being submitted to our journal have a clear message? Is it original? Is it important? Is it true? And above all, is it relevant to our readers? You've got to sell your work to get it through editorial triage. Don't forget that higher impact factor journals have really high rejection rates. Nature and Science, up to 9 out of 10, 90% or more papers that get submitted get rejected before peer review. So keep this in mind always. Your motivations for writing and publishing are very different from the motivations of editors who will be evaluating your work when you make a submission to an international journal. So think about a clear message with your study. Can you explain the takeaway of your study, of your paper, of your message to somebody like your granny or a bus driver or someone you've just met in a cafe, let's say, who does not understand anything about your research? This is key, absolutely critical to being successful at getting your work published in high impact factor journals, which is what we all want to do at the end of the day. So editors need to be able to work out your take-home message. If they can't, they're gonna reject your paper. They'll also reject if you haven't convinced them of your study's importance. They are always thinking, if I'm interested, then my readers will be too. So keep that in mind. Getting your paper into a journal, submitting to an international journal, is a bit like getting hit by a bus. We've got to survive that editorial triage step. Best of luck, and we are here to help at all stages of the process.